Hello everyone, welcome to my today's Salesforce Data Cloud session. Let me share screen. Hope you can see the screen. Okay, today my topic is Salesforce Data Cloud, delivering a unified customer experience. So today's session, we will have a brief introduction about Salesforce Data Cloud, and we'll then move on to a demo session using a small use case. Right. Salesforce Data Cloud is a platform to create a unified customer profile from different sources of customer data, such as profile data, engagement data, an order data, or a loyalty data, and also journeys. So using Salesforce Data Cloud, you can create unified customer profiles and build smarter audience segments and publish these segments to anywhere inside your organization. Then later, you can use some analytics tools and analyze your data. So by now, you know better about what Salesforce Data Cloud is. And let's see how Salesforce Data Cloud works. So every business collects an incredible amount of data every day, and we need to make use of this data in order to take business decisions. It's something like you have three brains and you need to sync them together to make decisions. So first, we need to collect and house all the data from the data sources. And for that, Salesforce Data Cloud supports out-of-the-box connectors to ingest data from different sources. Then later, you need to transform the data as required. And then you can harmonize the data using data models available on Data Cloud. Then next thing, you need to create a unified profile in order to provide a single view of the customers. And then, so you can create unified profiles using identity resolution rule sets. And then you can use insights in order to evaluate and understand your customer data, like purchasing behavior or an engagement activity of the customers. Like after that, you can create useful audience segments to understand and target your customers. And later, you can publish those created segments on any activation platform on a chosen schedule. Right. Next. So these are the 6 standard Data Cloud permission sets. Hope you all are familiar with Salesforce Data Cloud permission sets. These are also similar to that. Right. So let's quickly see how we implement Data Cloud. So in order to start with Data Cloud implementation, we need to turn on the Data Cloud in the Salesforce org, where this Data Cloud instance is provisioned in. So we need to set up Data Cloud with proper Data Cloud permission sets. But remember that you cannot activate or enable Data Cloud in any sandbox environment. So with that, we can configure the data ingestion in the Data Cloud. So data ingestion is the process of bringing in the raw data in its original form from different sources of the data. Right. So here the important thing is to specify the correct type of category of the data being ingested, because once you have defined the category of the data stream, you cannot change later. Right. once the data is being successfully ingested, you need to map those data to data models that are available in the data cloud. So from this diagram, you can see data from different data sources are being ingested into data cloud as data streams, and those each data source object is returned to a target data lake object, and data lake object is mapped to either standard data model object or a custom data model object, or it can be both, hybrid. Then finally, you need to review the relationship between those mapped data model objects. So now we have successfully ingested the data streams into our data cloud instance. So we have harmonized the data by mapping to the data models. So now we need to think how we are going to deliver a unified customer data. So there comes in the identity resolutions in data cloud. So using identity resolution rule sets, you can consolidate your data from different sources, and it helps to create a unified view of the customer data. So the steps included in implementing the identity resolution rule sets is, first you need to configure the match rules, then configure the reconciliation rules. Once after successfully running the identity resolution rule sets, you can validate the results using the resolution summary. So now we have created the unified customer. So the next thing is to create useful information from the unified customer data. So there comes in the insights. So insights define and used to calculate multidimensional metrics from the unified customer data that is being stored inside our data cloud instance. So for example, it can be a customer lifetime value, or from the products, we can check what are the most viewed category of the products, or a customer satisfaction score. So there are two types of insights. One is calculated insight, the other one is streaming insight. So next, the segmentation. So this is the most important part of the data cloud implementation, because it lets the users to create useful audience segments by querying the data that is available in the data cloud instance, and you can create audience segments from the customer data, and also this requires less technical knowledge, because you can directly use the attributes that are available inside the data cloud, and you can activate them easily, and also gain immediate results. You can see this during the demonstration very clearly. So finally, activation. So once you have created useful audience segments, you can activate your data. So this is the process of publishing your segments to an activation platform. So activation platform is the place where you create is where you store the information about the activation targets. Okay. These are the steps included in data cloud implementation. Next, we will move on to our demonstration. So let me quickly explain the use case. So Ravi Group of Companies is a multinational company running multiple businesses under one main board. So they are aiming to enhance their customer engagement and promote their loyalty programs within their customers effectively. So their mission is to create a single view of their customers from different systems, and identify the customers who spend high but not become the part of their loyalty programs, and promote them to become their loyalty program members. So how do we achieve this mission? So data cloud does this magic for us. Okay, so but no mission is complete without a detailed action plan. So let's plan. here are the participants of our use case. So Laila, being the Data Cloud marketing admin, um, also having the Salesforce administrator role, assigns John as the Data Cloud admin and granted access to the Data Cloud instance. And Tina, as the Data Cloud marketing data area specialist, her task is to create data streams, map data models, and create unified customer profiles using identity resolution rule sets. So Tina takes customer data and engagement data from two different systems. One is from Salesforce CRM, that is containing the data of their vehicle rental business, and the other one is e-commerce, that is Amazon S3, containing the transaction data of their retail sales on sports equipment business. So this is their mission path. First, they ingest data from different sources, then they clean and transform the data, then they harmonize the data by mapping to data models, and then they unify the data. Later, they create calculated insights in order to analyze the spending behavior of the customers. Then they create segmentations from the already created calculated insights with several conditions. And then finally, they activate the data by publishing those segments to a activation target. So in our scenario, the Data Cloud home is the activation target. So let's check out the demo. Okay. So as the Data Cloud admin, John first need to enable the Data Cloud instance in the Salesforce org where it is provisioned. So this is the home page of the Data Cloud instance. So here you can see the overview of the elements that are available in this Data Cloud instance. So there are 11 data streams, 5 segments, and 2 activations. In order to activate Data Cloud in the Salesforce org, he goes to the Data Cloud setup page, and here he will find the Get Started button. Once he click on this, the Data Cloud will be enabled, and after successfully enabling the Data Cloud instance, he get a welcome to Data Cloud message like this. And now he's going to configure the required data source. He's going to connect the required data source for this use case. So first, the Salesforce CRM. This Salesforce CRM has been connected to the cloud instance because this is the home of where the Data Cloud is provisioned in. Second, the Amazon S3. So he connected this Amazon S3 connection using Amazon S3 connector by providing the authentication details such as client ID and the client secret, and the connection details like bucket name and the directory name. Okay. Then Tina prepares the data. So now let's see what data she takes for this use case. So from the vehicle rentals app, she takes the objects, standard objects like contacts and access, and from Amazon S3, he has customer profile and the headers information containing their purchasing information, and fine items containing their product information of a particular. So these are the data for this requirement. Okay, now the data is scattered in different areas. Tina has to take necessary actions in order to bring in. She starts with ingesting data from these systems. So these are the data streams that are ingested by Tina for this use case. So we will quickly review few data streams of different categories. So the contact data stream of profile category, because it contains the customer information from their vehicle rentals app. Then the rental data stream of the type engagement, because it contains the rental activities of their customers. And rental preference data stream of other category, because it doesn't belong to either profile or engagement category, because it holds the customer's personal preferences of their vehicles being rented. So during the ingestion process, Tina identifies that she need to make use of some formula fields in order to flag the customers who holds insurance coverage. So here she created a formula field in order to check if the insurance business protection coverage is empty, then flag it as none. Otherwise, place the value as it is. So here we can test the value. So here it takes the value as it is, and if it's empty, so it flag it as none. So likewise, Tina creates as many formula fields required for her use case. Okay, now Tina has ingested all the data streams, and the data is available inside the data cloud. But what she's going to do with all this data, each having its own structure. It's like all this data is talking in its own language. So how is she going to make them work together and make them understand each other? So this is the time to tie them all together and make use of this data to strengthen the customer relationship. So here, Salesforce Data Cloud supports customer 360. Salesforce Data Cloud has its own customer 360 data model consisting of several objects in order to maintain the standard across different applications. So here, these are the mapped data model objects that Tina uses for this scenario. So you can see there are hundreds and thousands of data model objects available, supported by Data Cloud. So out of that, she uses some standard data model objects like contact point address, contact point email, and some custom objects like booking, rentals, rental preferences for her use case. So let's review few of them. So let's review this mapping. So she maps the data lake object contact to few standard data model objects: contact point address, contact point email, and contact point phone, individual data model object, and a few loyalty related data model objects, and the party identification. So this is a standard mapping. So this is an example for a custom mapping between the rental data lake object and the rental data model object. So once she has successfully mapped the data model objects, she need to review the relationship. So here you can see she has created the object relationship between the rental and booking as cardinality 1-to-1, and the cardinality between the rental object and the individual object is many to 1. Okay, now Tina has successfully ingested the data stream and harmonized the data by mapping to the data model objects, and also created a unified customer profiles she has created a harmonized customer profile. So now it's time to create unified customer profile. So now as a data cloud admin, John takes over the rest steps. So he creates an identity resolution rule set in order to create a unified customer profile. So this is the main identity resolution rule set he created for this use case, consisting of several match rules and reconciliation rules. So let's quickly see some of the match rules. So this is one of the match rule: name, fuzzy name, normalized email, and exact birth date. So here the match method he uses is fuzzy medium precision for matching the first name from the individual object and exact last name from the individual object, and exact normalized for the email address field coming from the contact point email object, and exact birth date from the individual object. So like this, John creates as much match rules as required. After that, he creates reconciliation rules. So reconciliation rules to work on the created identity resolution rule sets. So here the contact point address, he sets the reconciliation rules as most frequent, because the contact point address is coming only from one data source. So then for the contact point email, so he sets the reconciliation rule as source priority, because it is coming from two different data sources. One is from contact object from Salesforce CRM, the other one is from customer profile from the e-commerce platform. He selected the source priority and prioritized the Salesforce CRM as the source object to get the value for this particular data model object. Right. Now, the data streams has been successfully ingested. Data model has been created with required objects in place, and with successful completion of the rule set. Here, once the rule set has been successfully run, you can see the resolution summary with the total number of unified profiles and the consolidation rate. So the consolidation rate can be increased by increasing the number of match rules. So next, we need to create the useful information from the created unified customer profile. So John creates a calculated insight in order to analyze the customer's spending behavior. So he uses a visual builder to create this calculated insight. So this is the calculated insight created by John in order to analyze the spending behavior of the customer by joining two data model objects. One is sales order, and the other one is unified individual. And he aggregates several metrics like the lifetime value of the lifetime value of the customers from the sales order object by taking the sum of the grand total amount, then average, minimum, maximum total amount, and also the number of transaction count made by the customers. So he will use these metrics later in the segmentation. Finally, he filters only the completed sales orders. So once this calculated insight is created, so he can view this created calculated insight from the Data Explorer tab by selecting the object as calculated insight and with the correct name. So here you can see the customer ID and the unified ID and their corresponding metrics. Okay, now with all this, John is up to speed and he is ready to create powerful segmentation in order to create personalized marketing communication to his customers. So he creates a segment called high spenders, non-loyalty members. The intention of this segment is to identify the customers who spend high but not become the part of loyalty programs and enroll them to become the loyalty program members. So this segment has been created on the unified individual object with several conditions. So as I mentioned earlier, from the created calculated insight, he takes the lifetime value and checks if the lifetime value is greater than or equal to $500, and the sales order count should be at least 1, and the order start date should be within last 9 number of months, or else from the rental business they should have rented at least 2 vehicles and should hold a protection coverage. So that is the condition here, that they check the protection coverage is not equal to none. So with this, from this segmentation, the segmentation holds a population of 18 customers. So now he is going to activate the data by publishing this segment to an activation target. So he is going to create an activation target. So as I mentioned earlier, the activation target here is the Data Cloud home org. So he created an activation target and created an activation. So this is the activation that he created on the activation target Data Cloud org, and on the segment high spenders, non-loyalty members. And when creating the activation, the results of this activation will be saved, stored into a data model object in the Data Cloud. So he created a Data Cloud data model object with the name promotional campaign audiences in order to store the results of this activation. So once the segment is published, the results are stored into this data model object, and the results can be viewed here. So here you can see there are 18 number of customers from this activation. So with all these, they can use this activation in any Salesforce flows or some external applications to trigger some actions, to make some marketing campaigns, promotional marketing emails or personalized messages, and promote their customers to become their loyalty members. So this is all about the demo. So if you have any questions.
Is there any free sandboxes for this?
No, actually, sandbox environment doesn't support a data cloud. So if you need a data cloud, or either you can use it in a production or you have to get some demo or from partner learning communities. Yeah, yes, you can take a demo that is valid for 30 days, but you can collect the data as packages and reinstall it in another data cloud, or even if it's expired.
So that demo also possible to create it from the partner learning?
Yes.
So we need to create another demo from the partner learning and create a package and install it.
Yes.
So is there any packages available like Cloud in the early days? So in the early days they have provided the Cloud package. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, I recently contacted for my project, but from the support, they mentioned that there is no available block like that. Either we need to purchase it, purchase it, or we can take this demo. Those are usually valid for 30 days. So we can use only the production nodes. Thank you.